Well, welcome to the inaugural episode for Roaming Restless Women, real talk with wise, dynamic women leaders. You might be hearing the sound of my voice and going, wait a minute, I was not expecting that. And that is only because I have the distinct pleasure and opportunity to present your host, and that is Julie Noonan. Julie, congratulations on the launch of your podcast. This is very exciting.
Thank you, Josh. I'm really looking forward to hearing from my senior women leaders out there.
Yeah, so let's talk a little bit about who are roaming restless women.
Roaming restless women are women who are senior in their career. They have contributed to their communities, to their corporations. Some have their own businesses, and many of them are those people who continue to learn. They continue to seek new opportunities. They're never satisfied with where they are right then. They want to continue to grow and learn and share. So those are the women that I most closely work with in my coaching practice, and also want to interview for others in the podcast.
Your subtitle here is Real Talk with Wise, Dynamic Women Leaders. Would you mind maybe just kind of sharing with our friend that's listening to this? They might be listening to this episode first before they dive into some of these great conversations. I'm curious about, there's a lot of podcasts out there. And I'm curious about, our friend that's listening right now, for them to go, oh yeah, no, this is exactly what I want. Do you mind sharing just a little bit about the transformation and your hope and your vision for this show?
Absolutely. One of the visions that I got early on in my coaching career was I wanted to talk with wisdom leaders, with women who are those iconic wise women. Wise women are in every culture, and they keep the communities together. They're the ones who are taking care of the family. They're taking care of the continuity between generations. And those women have so much wisdom. They struggle, they get through it, they persevere. Those are the women that I want to create as well as hear from in the podcast. I use an axiogenics, valuegenic self-leadership model when I do coaching. And what that does is it allows women to fully realize their greatest assets and how to use those to overcome any biases they may have, picked up along the way. And it's such a relief to use this model, because what it does is it brings out that wisdom. It brings out those realizations in the senior women that I work with. And it helps them realize how very dynamic and how much they have to share with the generations that are coming behind us.
Yeah. So do you mind maybe just sharing a little bit about, obviously you work in an environment where you get to work with so many amazing senior female leaders. Do you mind maybe just sharing a little bit, Julie, about your impact in the world and the work you do and the impact you make?
Absolutely. One of the things that I do, and this is me living my personal dream life, is I decided I'm not going to wait until I retire to go out and get what I want. And so when I got laid off when I was 57 years old, I decided, I'm done being someone else's, peon, if you will. And I decided to make my own rules and to go out and create my own life. And so my husband and I moved into our RV. We travel around the country. I can work from anywhere. And I started my own business doing change management consulting for big organizations, as well as coaching for senior women. The impact that I've had is a greater understanding in the world, I believe, of the wisdom of women, of the power that when we're all together, we have. We did ourselves a disservice back in the 70s and 80s in, competing with each other more than helping each other. But that was the corporate culture back then. And so having to relearn how to interact with other senior women has probably been one of my greatest learnings over the last 10 to 15 years. And it has been so much more rewarding to help other women move ahead and excel, as opposed to compete with them to move ahead and excel. The support women have for each other is tremendous.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is so exciting to see. One thing that I've just noticed so much, Julie, is this sense of community that I see among female leaders who are obviously not just looking to support one another, but also to give that hand up to those other women that are rising through the ranks. And I see that this podcast really is a part of that, because these conversations are designed to inspire and to provide resources and support and wisdom. Would you mind maybe just sharing or kind of highlighting who you expect to have as guests on this show? And to our friend that's listening, by the way, you may know someone that would be perfect, Julie, for roaming Restless Women. But would you mind maybe just sharing a little bit about the guests that are to be coming on the show?
Absolutely. I have a tremendous network of senior women who will be coming on to share their entrepreneurial stories, their stories with struggles that they've gone through, health struggles, family struggles, caring for aging parents, bringing up the next generation, the things that they fear, like the fear of becoming obsolete before they're ready to leave their corporate jobs. Women in communities that have made a tremendous difference in the lives of their specific communities. I'm looking for women who have that nugget, have that one thing that they've learned that has made a huge difference in their life and the lives of others. So I'm really excited. I have a list of women that you guys are not going to believe. It's going to be tremendous.
I love it. I love it. So to our friend that's listening, you're going to want to go to the website. And this would be, by the way, if you know someone that you'd like to nominate, you can send them to this link, and there's a guest form right there. But the website is intuitivewisdomcoach.com. You'll click on the link that says podcast, or you'll see the cover art, or you'll see, roaming Restless Women. You click on that. And on that page, that's where you can subscribe. That's where you can share. That's where we can support one another in this endeavor. And Julie, I think that, and by the way, that's again where the form is going to be, where your guest nomination, your guest can go ahead and apply to be a guest on this podcast. Would just be so amazing. Julie, looking in your crystal ball here, and I see again, culturally, I do see a lot of galvanizing, over the past few years of women leaders, which I think is just wonderful. Where do you see us going? Like, if you were to look in your crystal ball, what's your vision for the future?
My vision is not just for women, but for everyone. Using the lessons learned that we have learned as we have battled through losing rights, gaining rights, helping each other in the corporate world, going through COVID, going through the birthing and raising of children and caring for aging parents. What I see is ultimately a world where all of that is everyone's responsibility, and that responsibility is shared across, and that we all learn together, not just women. I'm focusing on women because we've been underrepresented for so long. Underrepresented, but not unacknowledged, I think I should say, because that iconic wise woman appears over and over and over again. And even this week, listening to the Olympics, what am I hearing from some of the male Olympic sports people? My grandmother, my mother inspired me. They told me this, and this has really led my life, and this is how I make decisions. I want to engender the ability for everyone to have those moments of wisdom come to the forefront of their minds when they're making critical decisions and when they're thinking about how can I add more value to the world. That's why we're here, is to add value,
I
not to
couldn't
detract, not to destroy.
Yeah, couldn't have been said better, Julie Noonan. Finally, to our friend that's listening, they may also value from potentially connecting with you, brainstorming with
Yeah.
you, maybe even engaging with you. Do you mind sharing just a little bit about what that looks like and how you work directly with other leaders?
Sure. I do coach one-on-one as well as group women leaders. We focus on using their assets to make the best value decisions for everyone involved, whether it's their employees, whether it's their peers, their communities, and their families. I use it, like I mentioned before, an axiogenics approach, which basically means aligning your values with your decision-making process and retraining your brain basically to focus on your assets as opposed to constantly focusing on your biases, which we are trained to do from a survival mode. I try to help women turn that around and focus instead on their assets and the opportunities that they see out there to add value to the world.
Yeah. Again, the website, intuitivewisdomcoach.com. Click on podcast. That's where you can share with if you're a member of any group, network, or association that other female leaders are a part of, please share this with them, both obviously for the listening experience. And then also there are great ladies that deserve to be celebrated. We want to hear their wisdom. Julie Noonan, you are the host. I am going to step out of the hosting chair, give it to you in the hosting microphone. I can't wait to listen to all of these episodes. Congratulations, Julie.
Oh, thank you so much, Josh. I'm so excited to be starting this new opportunity.